Ma Kong stands at the doorstep. Turn on your phone's front-facing camera. Examine your neck carefully. His first set of pull-up shirt collars. Confirm that there is no lipstick print. In cyber people. The perfume is gone, and I let out a breath. He took out the key, opened the door and walked in. Honey, I'm back. No one in the house responded. Ma Kong frowned, changed slippers, walked to the bedroom. The door is staged. He stood in front of the door and looked in. Middle of the bedroom. His seven-colored Merlin was wearing a long red dress, hanging from the beams of the ceiling. Falling hair. The whole corpse is slightly rotating in midair. At this moment, he just turned to Ma Kong slowly. Pale face. Distortion of facial features. The corners of the mouth are slightly cracked. A pair of muddy eyes stared wide, as if staring at the carbine. The oil ring is holding two large cardboard boxes. In embarrassment, squeezed into the elevator, panting. This old residential building was built in the 1990s. Narrow corridor. Elevator is slow. The wall skin is modeled, but the rent is cheap. Not far from the company. For migrant workers who just transferred money. It's an ideal place. Elevator doors open on the 4th floor. Yao Feng is about to step out, but he bumped into a man with a green suitcase, getting ready to enter the elevator. Oops, sorry. Yao Feng hurriedly lowered her head to accompany her smile. The aunt looked at him, suddenly asked, "You are new here?" Yao Feng poked her head out from behind the box. Smile at him. "It's Auntie. You also live on the 4th floor. From now on, we will be neighbors." Marijuana looks dead. The flute sounded until I was about to move out. He paused. He looked down at the box in his hand again. Seems to be hesitating. Yao Feng didn't think much of it either. About to move on. Auntie suddenly turned around and called him, rather than carrying a bit of meaning. "Girl, this house is too old. If the rent is refundable, change the place." Yao Feng was stunned. I was about to ask my parents, but I already walked into the elevator, can close slowly, leaving him alone. And there, standing there thoughtfully, after a day of tossing, I finally finished packing up, shaking the square tiredly on the bed, soon passed out. Until midnight. He woke up in a daze with a dry mouth. Get up and drink water. But suddenly I heard the corridor outside the door. Slight footsteps. Yao Feng looked up at the clock. It's already 2 a.m. Who hasn't slept so late? He quietly underestimated and barged in the door, lying on the cat's eye and looking out. I saw in the dark corridor a woman in a red dress. It's at the door of dead 03 opposite. Head down. The long black hair covers the whole face. Arms fall to the side. The footsteps are slow to hide over there. The footsteps were particularly harsh in the silent corridor. Yao Feng looked at this strange scene. A layer of cold sweat sticks out from my back. 403. Busy moving during the day. He didn't pay much attention, just vaguely remember. There seems to be some seal attached to the door. He gave a sharp slap. Run back to bed. Wrap yourself in the quilt. I can still hear it in my ears. Intermittent footsteps outside. He hardly slept that night. The next day, Yao Feng got off work with a pair of panda eyes. Just went downstairs. I saw the aunt who met the elevator last night, standing in front of the convenience store. She hurried over. "Auntie, do you still remember me? I'm the girl who just moved in yesterday." The aunt looked at him. His face changed instantly. "Did you sleep well last night?" Yao Feng's first sister. Did something happen to Aunt 403? Auntie hesitates. A moment of silence and a whisper. Girl, I used to live in 402. It is the young couple who just moved in at 403 the day before yesterday. One died. A missing person. People died there a year ago. If you don't mind the trouble, move away now. Don't get dirty. Say it. Turn around and leave in a hurry. As if unwilling to say another word, Yao Fang returned to the apartment in a panic. Start packing without hesitation. Prepare to bring some belongings. Go to your best friend's house for a while. But now, it suddenly started pouring outside the window. Lightning and thunder. He hesitated again and again. Finally decided to spend the night idle. Leave immediately tomorrow morning. The footsteps outside the door in the middle of the night came again. Yao Fang closes her eyes tightly. Don't even dare to breathe too hard. I won't see you. You won't look at me. He kept reciting over and over in his heart, but he suddenly realized the eerie footsteps are getting closer and closer, getting closer, and stopped in front of his door. Yao Feng's hair all over her body exploded. The pressure was suffocating him. He got up at last, carefully approached the cat's eye. Want to confirm? Is that woman still outside the door? Sure enough, under the dim light, the woman in the red dress, facing his door, standing in front of the door, head hangs low. The hair completely covers the face. Not moving at all. This is unexpected. Close at hand. Let Yao Fang tremble with fright. He kicked down the umbrella standing by the door. Make a crisp sound. Yao Fang's face turned pale in an instant. Don't dare to move. She will be in place. Next second, I am afraid that the woman outside the door may hear a noise. Slowly raise your head. A pair without the whites of the eyes. Eyes of empty seasons. Stare straight in the direction of the cat's eye. It's like looking at each other through the door. Yao Fang retreated, as if struck by lightning. Hurry up and hide by the door. Don't dare to move. Time goes by, minute by minute. There has been no movement outside the door. He pinched his feet and leaned back into the cat's eye again. About in time, the woman in the red dress is no longer there. A big stone in my heart seems to be slowly falling to the ground. Suddenly, the strange footsteps sounded again, and this time in the living room behind him. Aunt Lee poked her head out of the quilt, glanced at the electronic clock on the wall. It's 1 a.m. He gritted his teeth and sat up from the bed. It was pitch black. Only outside the window, the light of the convenience store downstairs threw in some pale. The voice is not in a hurry. Once, it's the next door knocking on the wall. The young couple in 403 next door. It's been a week since I moved in. I don't know what happened today. Been knocking on the wall in the middle of the night. Aunt Lee sighed. They have a high probability. Teacher does not understand. What happened to that house a year ago? That's a dead man's scene. 1 year ago, the owner of 403, Melanie, hanged herself at her home. His husband, Ma Kung, also moved away shortly after. The house was empty for a whole year. The rent is already falling. Finally, someone moved in. If not for the end of your life, Aunt Lee doesn't want to continue living here. 4th floor. The gunshots continue, as if every blow was hitting him in the head. Aunt Lee has been on fire for several days. I can't take it anymore. He raised his hand and banged on the wall a few times. Are you still letting people sleep? The knock on the wall on the opposite side lasted, and he was breathing. There was a sudden sound on the other side of the wall. Rhythmic percussion. as if imitating his response. Aunt Lee's face turned blue with anger, scolded, "Is this sick to the young people?" The next morning he got up early. He angrily knocked on the door of 403. The door was opened by a gentle young man, pale, wearing a pajama. His eyes were tired and nervous. "Was it you who knocked on the wall last night?" Auntie Lee asked flatly. Young man waved. "See if there is any." Then the complexion suddenly changed. His eyes quivered slightly, as if suddenly thought of something. The next second he looked down and said something. "Sorry, Aunt. We don't have it. Not us." He's still in his clothes, and slammed the door shut. Aunt Lee was trembling with anger. Stand at the door and scold a few more words before returning to the house. That night, Lee Daba is waiting on the opposite side to knock on the wall. This time it's not knocking on the wall. It's a knock on the door. Heavy, fast, hard. Aunt Lee sat up abruptly, scared to the point of flight. He tiptoed in the door, looking out blindfolded, empty, breathing a sigh of relief. But it's a rush of clapping students. He stared fixedly into the cat's eye. "I didn't see anything. There is nothing outside the door." But the door panel was shaken violently, as if to smash the door panel. Aunt Lee no longer dared to stay in front of the door. Hastily returned to the house. "Take out the pillow and cover your ears." Sleepless all night. The next morning, the sponge suddenly sounded again. Frightened, he leaned up to look into the cat's eye. This time it's a couple of uniformed officers. He quickly opened the door. "Police comrade." "What's up?" "To guard a southern police road." "Hello, we are from the criminal police force. There was a murder in 403 next door to you last night. Let's find out." Aunt Lee was dumbfounded. "Homicide?" "Yes," the police officer nodded. "A young man died in his home last night. We are investigating." "Did you hear anything last night?" Lee Dalla was stunned for a few seconds, suddenly realized. I turned around and looked at my door. On the door panel, impressively covered with dark red bloody handprints. "Oh, my God." Aunt Lee sat on the ground on the spot, pale face. "Knock on the door of last night's ghost. Told the police exactly." He couldn't help but ask, "What about the girl in 403 who is pregnant? How is he?" Several police officers exchanged glances with complicated expressions. "Girl," one person whispered to himself. "When we arrived, there are only male corpses in the house. No sign of the girl." Learned a little more about girls. Several police officers thanked and left. Aunt Lee couldn't say a word, just sitting upright on the ground, eyes straight. He doesn't want to be in this hellish place anymore. Shameless or not, whether the children like it or not, he's also moving out of this damn dead building immediately. He stumbled to pack his bags, pull up the green suitcase that has been with him for many years. Left this building. He doesn't want to stay in the building for another second. Daeyoung and Lulu stand in front of the locked door. "Young, what are you afraid of?" "Lulu has a big belly," said with a smile. "If the landlord says not to open it, you really won't open it. The rent is paid. Who knows if this door can't be opened?" Daeyoung is standing behind him. Some eat, except. But when Brother Ma left, he specially explained, "This room must not be opened. You dare not drive." "I drive." Lulu pouted and stepped forward to start the trick. Daeyoung sees this. How can a pregnant wife do this kind of work? He rushed to help. After a while the door lock was opened. A cold, damp air pounced out through the crack in the door. Sleeping in the house is simple. A dusty wooden bed, An old wardrobe. The curtains are covered. Dim light. The air is filled with fruit. Like delicious. Yo, this skirt is so pretty. Lulu's eyes lit up. Walk quickly to the bedside. A red dress is neatly folded in the middle of the bed. He excitedly picked up the dress. I just wanted to gesture on my body. Daeyoung grabbed his wrist. Don't touch anything. He interacts with Ki. Didn't you say you'd pry it open and take a look? Let Brother Ma find out that we entered this house without permission. The deposit will not be refunded. Lulu rolled her eyes. Poison bag. Break. Put the skirt. No one noticed when I went back. A yellowed piece of lucky paper stuck to the bottom of the skirt. It was accidentally torn apart by Lulu. Weird patterns on paper. Has been fragmented. That night, they just lay down. There was a slight knock on the door. Who is it? Lulu frowned and looked at Daeyoung. I'll take a look. Daeyoung rolls over and gets up. To the living room. He approaches the door. No one looks out of the cat's eye, just about to turn away. The knock on the door rang again. This time they both heard. This knock on the door turned out to be from that door. From the door that had been warned not to open. The two looked at each other. They all saw fear and helplessness in each other's eyes. Who is in there? Daeyoung asked the question. No response. He walked gently to the door, slowly put the ear on it. The knock on the door rang again. Daeyoung stumbled back to the bedroom. Pull up. The two hugged each other tightly, staring at that creepy door. Sleepless night. The sky is slightly bright. The knock on the door rang again. This time it came from outside the door of the apartment. Daeyoung has the courage to open the door. I saw Aunt Lee from 402 next door, standing at the door. Don't look good. Was it you who knocked on the wall last night? Did you knock on the wall? Daeyoung's subconscious denial. But an idea suddenly popped into my mind. After the sound of 402, it's the mirror room. Someone knocked on the next wall in that room last night. And he went white. Bow your head and say something. Sorry, Aunt. We don't have it. Not us. Closed the door. He turned around in disbelief and walked into the house. Science was stunned. The door opened again. Enter it facing that room. Standing motionless at the door. Fear instantly filled Daeyoung's body. Are you crazy? Why are you in that room again? Daeyoung rushed over and picked him up, lift the door and carry him back to the bedroom. How long have you been standing there? He asked. Lulu doesn't speak, just lying peacefully in bed with your eyes closed, like falling asleep. Lulu hasn't been awake all day. Daeyoung didn't sleep well last night. Terribly sleepy. Unconsciously fell asleep. Drowsy. Daeyoung feels some breathing difficulties. He opens his eyes. My chest is stuffy. He wants to start, but found that he couldn't move his hands and feet. And he looks down. His hands and feet are entangled in scotch tape, rags in his mouth. Daeyoung instantly disappeared from sleep. In panic, he saw the fan. The cursed door has been opened again. Lulu actually put on that red dress, standing quietly in front of the door. Several bloodlines flowed from under his skirt, spread down his legs to his feet. There's a big pool of blood tied to the floor, but Lulu's eyes were glazed over. There's even one on his face. Weird smile. Doesn't seem to care at all. He finally realized that something was wrong with the road. He struggled desperately. Can't say a word. I can only whimper. Daeyoung wriggled and rolled off the bed, fell into the blood on the floor. He can't take care of himself. Blood all over. Climbed towards the door little by little. The door was open. He crawled as hard as he could into the corridor. Come to door 402. Lie on your back. Free up the hands tied together. Slam on the doorknob. He clearly heard the sound of footsteps inside. The door never opened. He wanted to call for help. Helpless Mouth is also greedy. At this moment, he saw a red figure. I don't know when it has appeared at the door of... That's Lulu. Still that weird expression, staring at him. He slammed on the 402 door again in horror, but still no response. Lou slowly walked. He came forward with an even weirder smile, bent down and grabbed Dayoung's ankle. Amazing power. Drag him back to the gate of 403. Dayoung struggles desperately at midnight as the door of 403 slowly closes. The entire fourth floor was finally leveled again.